What's up, everybody? It's your boy Billy Ratliff here and Josh Griffin here with the Volunteer Roadshow. And hey, we're going to do a quick preview here today. Hopefully, you guys can go in and, comment here and ask us questions. And we're going to try to answer as many as we can. We're here at the Top House here on North Peters Road. And we are going to have a good time tonight. Of course, Bobby wasn't able to make it. He's out there on that truck. Him and Catfish are still fighting, I guess. Hopefully they make up eventually. Josh, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, man.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been busy. We've been trying to gear up Fan Pride and start gearing up for basketball season and everything. And so we've been working on content for those things, and I hadn't been able to make it down here, but it's good to be down here getting ready to watch a football game again.
Man, it's crazy to even think that basketball is already here. Man.
I know it.
Already here. Man.
But they look good.
Oh, man, they did. I got a chance to watch them, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it don't look like they skipped a beat.
Yeah, and you could tell that the team was off. They weren't firing on all cylinders, and still managed to put up 107 points on Eastern New Mexico. I mean, it's Eastern New Mexico, but if you look at some of our other interconference rivals, Florida had a Division II private school, Lynn University, and I think they beat them by just a few points. So Rick Barnes has got it moving. It's going to be an exciting basketball season.
Oh, it will. I mean, I think everybody was thinking that this team was going to fall off just a little bit, with all the guys that left this year. But I think they're going to be fine, And Ron Slay said the same thing. I don't know if you heard that. He's going to be on with us now.
I did. So. Yep. That's one of the things that we're trying to get. How are we going to integrate our content with what Ron's going to bring to the table and everything? So that's those are some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes. That's why my face hadn't been in front of a camera too often.
Well, I guess we need to go ahead and get ready for UAB, man. We're 6 hours away from kickoff?
6 hours away to showtime.
So what do you think? What do you think we got today? Who you think gonna play a quarterback?
I think they'll start Maurer.
Okay.
It's hard to justify not starting the quarterback that gives you the best opportunity to win the ball game. And this UAB team, whenever the season started, I circled that game because this was not expecting a Georgia State win or Georgia State loss, a BYU loss. I thought that UAB was the trap game. They've got a prolific offense. They're known to put points up on the board in the past. Now they haven't been quite as productive on the offensive side of the ball this year as they have been in past years. But they kind of switched roles, and now they're a little bit of a defensive team. They've been holding people, and there's no question that Tennessee is going to be the most talented team that UAB's seen all season. They've played South Alabama and some of those lower echelon teams like that, and managed to hold them. But their defense has some flaws. Tennessee's finding its identity offensively. And the defense just keeps getting better and better and better every week. I'm not nearly as worried as I was at the beginning of the season.
Well, a lot of people have, been asking me, what do I think about the game? I tell them, I don't think it's going to be a game. I think it's going to be what it should be. When you have a homecoming team that's coming in here for your homecoming, typically you expect to blow them out, get some of the younger guys in, and get some reps. But I don't think that's going to happen like that because I've always told everybody that those losses that we had against Georgia State, BYU, it gave every team on our schedule even more confidence because they know and they feel that they can beat the Vols as well. So now every game that anybody comes in here, it is an upset for them,
Right.
So with this UAB team coming in, what I think Coach Pruitt gonna have to get these guys up and let them know that we can't have a Georgia State, a BYU letdown. I don't believe in those letdown things. I mean, the kids, they play based off what the coaches give them. And if the coaches go out there and play like I've always told them, and I say they should do, is keep it basic on offense.
Right.
You know, get it into the playmakers' hands and let them make a play like they've been doing these last few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, because I still think we have a lot to improve on, especially with our individual players on offense. You know, our running backs haven't done anything expected that we thought they would do this year. Callaway haven't had a chance to peak yet.
Right. He's not had that breakout game.
Last week was his first really breakout game. So there's a lot of things that's going for the Vols that they could, you know, do great. And today is a good day to capitalize on those things and find out if they're really who we saw these past few weeks.
Yeah, the back half of this schedule means a lot for the team. So being able to kind of establish what you're going to do offensively and defensively for these last 3 games using this UAB team, you kind of get to go back to the beginning of the season and what should have been done in the Georgia State game. But I think that the coaching staff and Jeremy Pruitt now know you need to get out and get that comfortable lead first before you start experimenting with rotations and things like that.
Definitely.
So I think that they'll play their best ball in the early part of the game, and then they'll start trying to figure out some depth chart stuff and everything for the Kentucky, Missouri, and Vanderbilt games.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, man. I mean, I'm just hoping, you know, for the quarterback situation. Guarantano had surgery last week.
Right.
You know? I mean, if he's okay to play, he plays. But me personally, I don't think he should play. And if he had surgery, I mean, if he practiced and he did well, yes. I'm most definitely just being honest and straight up. If Maurer was concussion protocol, he's not playing anymore this year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, and the reason I say that is because, I mean, his health is more important than this game. You know, I mean, and I know he wants to play.
Sure.
He's a football player, and I'll tell you, I mean, I was that same way. You couldn't keep me out that game if I felt I was healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
You know, I went back and played after being paralyzed, right? But it's because I love the game, and I know he loves the game that way, and he wants to play.
Right.
Now, personally, I don't care which one of them play, as long as the offensive scheme is basic.
Right. Well, there's definitely a lot to be said about player health, and we don't know the specifics. You know, we don't know exactly how bad his concussion was, if he actually had a concussion or if he was just under protocol. For him to go down in that first game and then come right back and start the second game, you got to think that first week probably wasn't a bad deal. But he did miss the last game, so that this second stint of him being out was probably a little more serious.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know the specifics, and it could just be, you know, they could be overguarding, they could be, you know, being, you know, overly cautious. But I have faith that the coaching staff's not going to put anybody out there that, you know, would risk their long-term health.
Well, let's go over and look at the chat, man. See what we got over here. Who's on here now? Let's see. Hey, of course, my main man, David Newcomb on here. What's going on, David? Let's see. Patrick 80, how you doing, man? Andrew James Smith. He said, what's up, y'all? Hey, what's going on, Andrew? Brandon Burris, he said, Vols by 40.
Vols by 40.
Hey, I would love to see that, man. That's what homecoming is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
He also said, he asked us, will we play Mara or save him for the last 3? I mean, if he's able to play, I'll say play him, you know. But
yeah, I mean,
you know,
it's
no such thing as saving him, you know. I mean,
yeah.
if he can, you know, he needs all the experience he can get, you know. And if he gives us the best chance to win, we need him out there because I want to go 5-0 at the end of the season because that helps us. You know, it gets the kids to a better bowl game. You know, get to be, you know, play a better competition.
Yeah.
You know, and 6-6, you know, it's really not guaranteed. You know, you can fall out.
I'm not so sure how important the quarterback starter for this game is either. And what I mean by that is, you take a look at last week, we played South Carolina, which is a really good defensive team. Mm-hmm. I mean, Will Muschamp knows how to coach defense. And we carved up their secondary, and the reason that we carved up their secondary is because for the first time in college football history, I think we had a quarterback by committee situation. I've seen the running back by committee, but we had a quarterback by committee. We had a wide receiver in there trying to run the wildcat, sometimes throwing the ball up. We had a third string quarterback in there just launching bombs, hitting dimes. Who nobody had any time to, or they didn't have any game film to prepare for it.
And that's tough.
And then you had Garantano coming in and doing things that we haven't seen him do since last season. And if you get another quarterback by committee situation going, and you incorporate Brian Maurer, who's got the legs to hurt you on the ground and the arm to hurt you through the air, I mean, I think that they can kind of Frankenstein a quarterback together and create some really difficult situations for the UAB defense.
Well, I'll tell you this here. I'll tell you who I want to start at quarterback today. I want to see the same starting quarterback we had last week. I want to see it, man. I want to see him throw it down the field, man.
Well, I mean, last week he wildcat and tried to run, or what do they call it? What do they call it at Tennessee? What do they call the wildcat? They don't call it wildcat.
I don't know. I'm quite sure it's wildcat. I don't know. I mean, they didn't have wildcat when I played over there.
But if he starts the game with wildcat fake run and then just launches one, everybody they don't know he can throw. They don't know he was a high school quarterback.
I want to see them air it out. I want to see him, because he has a little arm. I want to see him put it up there. So
Jim Chaney's known for all this short pass, dump and dive offense and everything, and then he just, I don't know what happened last week. He just decided, let's open the gates, and it looked like one of the best offenses I've seen all year. And that's nationwide. I mean, they were scoring left and right. They had wide receivers open left and right. When they wanted to break off a run, Tim Jordan would dog it down, 10, 12, 14 yards. Mm-hmm. I mean, they looked really good. I was really impressed. And a lot of that credit goes to Jim Chaney, what he's been able to do. I know a lot of people in the early part of the season were like, what is Chaney doing? But I think he was handcuffed.
Yes.
I think he was handcuffed by his personnel a little bit.
You're right. You're
right. And now that you've got the losses to Georgia State and BYU, and the season is just kind of a building season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they, all bets are off on what they're going to pull off, and I don't know why it's not always like that. Explain to me, as a fan, I played high school football, mm-hmm. but I never played at the college level. What is the thought process behind hiding the playbook in the first couple games? I understand if you've got a Division II team that you're just trying to tune up some things.
And that's
but
typically
that,
what it is,
in NCAA Division I football, every game counts.
And I'll tell you my reasoning for it, and the way I think of it is just like you said. If you're playing like these cupcake schools the first couple of games, you typically should be able to run 10 plays and be successful with it.
Right.
And you shouldn't have to bring out that much stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, if you get in a situation where, oh shucks.
That exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is at the Georgia State game, once they had your number, mm-hmm. all bets are off. Yes. You can't lose to Georgia State. You open the playbook up and you let it fly, and you start trying to put some points on the board and get that W. But
I'm completely with you there. Yes, I'm with you there.
Pruitt seems like one of those that's just going to stick to his guns no matter what.
Yeah.
He's got a game plan. He's not coming off that game plan.
And that's him. I mean, that's what he did defensively when he was down south there.
Yeah.
I don't even like saying the name.
the team that shall not be spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
I think we'll be okay, man. I mean, I'm just glad that this team is finally sealing the cracks. They're starting to become concrete now. I still think we have a little bit room to improve on the offensive line mm-hmm. and defensive line, mm-hmm. even though we've saw that, but we still haven't done what makes a team successful.
Yeah. Did we have the first offensive lineman to get a targeting call in college football?
Oh my God! What was man?
I think we did. I think we may have had the first offensive lineman to get a targeting call. But no, you're right. Some of the players are starting to establish their roles.
Yes.
They're starting to, and even bigger probably, as some of the players that we've expected big things out of and they haven't quite produced, or all of a sudden they're producing.
Mm-hmm.
Nigel Warrior,
Yep.
Daniel Batuli, Darryl Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are playing the ball that they should have been playing all along.
Yes.
And it's really exciting to see. Some of those Butch kids finally buying into Pruitt's program. With a couple games left to go in the season.
Well, when they called that targeting on the offensive lineman that game, Josh, I remember I was on the stage up there and they called it. And the first thing I said, if that call sticks, I would never watch football ever again.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. I mean, how do offensive linemen get called for targeting? And he's on offense.
It's amazing to me what does get called targeting. If you're going to tackle a player, it's getting to the point where the offense is going to be able to just walk.
Oh, it's coming. Flag footbal.
It already looks
Yes,
like that.
It is.
But if you're a defender and you played on the defensive side of things, this wasn't a thing whenever you played. But imagine now, these guys are getting down. They're down as low as a person can humanly go and still move forward. And these running backs are able to continue lowering that hip, and that's what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Yes.
At what point is the officiating, the SEC, the NCAA officiating administration going to take a look at that and say, if the running back's going down, it can't be targeting because these defenders are being trained to go as low as possible.
Yes.
And if the running backs want their knees to start getting shot, then I guess they can keep on with it. But eventually you're going to get to that point. You're going to get to a point where these running backs are staying up and you're going to have legs being taken out, broken knees, broken chins.
What was it? I was trying to remember. I think, didn't they say, I remember maybe it was last year once they start, putting the targeting stuff in, that they was going to change it if the running back lowered their head. They was going to be calling a targeting on the running backs.
Last year, yeah.
But I haven't seen it yet. I think I saw it a couple of times last year when it first came out, but they have yet to improve it or help out. Basically, it sucks for the defense all the way around because there's nothing or any rules that are out there to, how would I say, create safety for the defensive players.
Yeah. I think it's a situation where you're going to see the pendulum swing. The pendulum was here. It swung way hard the other direction. I think it's going to land somewhere in the middle. But right now, while it's way over here, it's hard to be a defender in college football.
It is because me personally, like I always do a demonstration for some reason. Every time someone comes to my house and they talk about it, I always put my helmet on them and let them, see what I'm talking about. As far as when your helmet goes a certain way, your helmet goes every way your eyes go.
Right.
There's no way to make your helmet not touch anywhere your eyes go.
Right.
So my issue is what it is, I don't even like the name of it, calling it targeting, because the defensive player has a target to hit.
Yeah.
So instead of them calling it targeting, it should be called spearing.
Right.
Which is what they taught us at a very young age. Never use the crown of your helmet. Always keep your eyes up. But it does not matter what touches the offensive player's helmet.
Yeah. I mean, tops of helmets are going to hit quarterbacks, the bottom of quarterback's face mask. And I think you got to go to the intent of the rule. Or the intent of the hit. The rule needs to be outlined so that the intent of the player must be obviously malice. He needs to obviously have some kind of bad intention. When you leave your feet and your arms are behind you and you have no intention of tackling somebody and you're gonna spearing. Yeah, absolutely. But then even still, I don't think that 15-yard penalty and an ejection
That's what's got me.
is warranted.
I don't like that. The automatic ejection.
Yeah.
You know, it should be how everything else is with the personal fouls. If they get to, yes, eject them.
Yeah.
But the first one, it shouldn't be like that. You know, yes, if it's just straight brutal, where it's legit, like it's very intent, yes.
Yeah.
But if you see a kid that's trying to make a play, like for instance, I forgot who it was that got called for it last week, that Pruitt went off on.
Toto.
Yes. And
Was it Toto?
all he wanted to do was, no, the D lineman.
Middleton?
Yes.
Yeah.
All he did was, he already was in motion.
He bear hugged
and
him.
the quarterback let the ball go, and he's already in motion to make the tackle.
You know, another thing about that play too is he was, within inches of getting his hands on the ball.
Yes.
So how was it a late hit?
Yes.
So they called late hit on it, roughing the passer.
It sucks, man. I mean,
Yeah, it's eventually you're either going to have to do one of two things. You're going to have to relax that rule, or you're going to have to put flags on the quarterback.
you can't do anything to a quarterback anymore.
I know it.
Like, I wish I can go back and play quarterback myself now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I might have teach my young one, when he start playing football, we're gonna do kicker, punter, or quarterback. Everything else, don't even worry about it. Let's go backup quarterback somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you can, and follow my logic on this. You can, on the field, you can rip another player's helmet off, punch him square in the face.
Yes.
You're going to get a 5-yard or a 15-yard flag and a warning. You're not getting ejected. You're going to
Yes.
get a warning.
Yes.
But if you mistakenly put your head somewhere on a tackle that it shouldn't be, you're not playing the rest of the game. And if it was after the half, you're not playing the first half of the next game. Oh, Euros just got denied, so he's not going to be eligible to play basketball this year.
No.
That's a basketball. That's from
What
Luke.
was the situation with that anyway?
He was just on. I believe it was a transfer.
Okay.
And he was trying to get a waiver, and he didn't get his waiver.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that sucks for the kid, though. So,
Yeah,
I guess what he'll just hear red shirt.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I guess he'll sit out his season this year, and he'll be with us next year. Well, we could open up a whole nother can of worms with the transfer rules and everything. So maybe we better not. But thanks, Luke, for letting us know. Anybody that's watching that's been following that, Euros was denied his waiver to play. Back to basketball, the disrespect that Tennessee's getting at the beginning of the season, not being ranked, is a little crazy to me. I understand that we lost a lot. We lost Schofield. We lost Grant Williams. We lost Alexander.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you were right.
Remember what I said?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah. We're talking about the point spreads on this Wake Forest and NC State game. But that was before we were recording. But we lost those players in the basketball team, but we replaced them with 5-star talent. Grant Williams, Schofield, Alex. None of these guys were 5-star guys.
No.
And what Rick Barnes was able to do with those guys was nothing short of amazing. To the Sweet 16 they went. Well, look what 107 points, even though it's a Division II team. Putting up over 100 in a college ball game
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
I mean, you're dropping baskets.
Yeah, I think that this team is going to be. I don't think they'll be unranked for long.
David, he said, "Can we appeal the denial?" It won't help right now. I'm telling you, it won't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you can. I think that they'll put in their appeal, unless Luke might be able to provide a little more insight on that. But I think that we still have an appeal. I don't think that Euros was on an appeal. So there's still an opportunity to appeal it and get him eligible to play. Luke will know better.
I see.
Luke and Matt Ray and Brandon Martin and those guys, they all follow recruiting a lot closer than I do. I get it secondhand from them. And then especially basketball recruiting, I'm an even further step behind on that. But these guys are great. They live in it.
Yeah.
I can't sometimes get them on the phone because they're at ball games that are on a Wednesday night or Thursday night, or they devote a ton of their time to watching these high school kids, and we're lucky to have them here.
Let's see. Check the chat and see if we got any questions on there right now, Josh. Anything new?
The last question was Dave Newcomb asking about, can we appeal the denial? I'm not sure what the reasoning was. Yeah, but they're okay. So Luke's telling me that they've got an article with all the details about it on volunteerroadshow.com. If you want to go check that out, Luke and those guys have, I'm sure, have got every detail that there is involved around that situation. So volunteerroadshow.com. Go read Luke's article, and you'll know the details. So UAB, what do you think? What have you seen have you seen anything out of UAB this year that worries you?
Not really. The only thing that I saw, the quarterback has been pretty good. Throwing the ball to a lot of young receivers. He stretched the field a lot. But I still think we have our DBs are finally stepping up. We had some good DBs that's coming back, but they hadn't showed up all year, and then finally they did. So I think UAB they're going to be tough the first quarter.
Yeah.
I really think they're going to come in here ready to play and let everybody know that they are really good.
Yeah.
That their record is a lot. It's the real deal.
Okay.
But Tennessee is going to have to shut them down if they score early. We got to change it real quick.
Yeah, keep the momentum.
The fans.
Yeah.
The fans. Our 12th man got to stay in the game.
Sure.
It got to be rocking like it was last week. I didn't get a chance to go to it, but for the first time all year that I looked on TV and I saw they were showing the student section, how they were standing up and stuff. I hadn't seen that since, I want to say since, when Dobson was here.
Yeah, oh yeah, with the
and the crowd was rocking.
Florida game. I think that's the last time it really got hyped in Neyland Stadium. Whenever checkered Neyland, Smoky Grays, and beat Florida at home. Yeah, I think that's the last time I've really seen that place really rocking. Now, don't get me wrong, the fans have been great ever since. But I mean, you played. As a matter of fact, you probably were there. If you weren't there as a player, no, this would have been 2004, 2005 maybe. So you weren't there as a player. But
I was over there though.
But number 2 Georgia came into the stadium, into Neyland, and this is the loudest game I've ever been to out of any stadium that I've been to in the country. If we were ranked, we were ranked 25. I don't recall us being ranked at all though.
I think I remember. Yes, I remember.
And by halftime, we were leading 35-0.
Yep.
And that place got so loud, it about made you pass out. Just the way.
Really?
Everything just kind of became one sound. It was playing with your head, and people were just feeding off of it, yelling louder and louder and louder. And of course, Tennessee ended up winning that game. Georgia made a little bit of a comeback and made the game a little bit closer, but for the first half, Tennessee dominated that game, and it's the loudest thing I've ever experienced in my life, let alone, college football. So, I think we've yet to come back to that level, but I think we're flirting with, beating Florida and stuff. That South Carolina game was wild. When the media guys have to mute the crowd noise, it's a good game. Because they don't always do that.
But guys, we're probably going to get out here in a second because they're getting ready to set the band up here. I think they're knocking on the back door right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to let them in.
So they're setting up a live band here at the Tap House. For those of you who have never been out here, you ought to come out. The food's great. People are great. There's TVs everywhere. Tennessee Tap House on Peters. Come out, check it out.
That's right.
But they're getting. Oh, is it?
I think he'll get on them.
I was about to walk around the whole stuff.
They'll be setting up a live band here shortly, and we're gonna go. We won't be broadcasting during that, but as it
Well,
gets closer
actually,
to
I'm
the
surprised he just showed up. My fact.
Yeah.
You know, because he normally he'll wait till the game come on or whatever, and then Georgia be up like 17-0, and then Florida come back and they're up by 21-17, and all of a sudden he shows up. You know.
Yeah, that happened once. That was because I didn't know you guys were streaming.
Are y'all gonna win today?
Oh yeah, we definitely.
You know,
I've not been so excited for a game in a while.
Yeah.
Because finally, after Georgia's been on top everywhere, finally someone just gets to punch them in their stubby ass little snout that a bulldog has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Ryan that Catfish likes to call Crying Ryan. Is that?
Yeah, that's big. Where is Catfish, by the way? Is he here?
He's on the road.
Is he gonna be here?
Yeah, he won't be here today.
How you gonna miss this game, bro?
Yeah.
But guys, we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back up here shortly. Well, depends on if you want to stay on. You can stay on now.
I'll be here. I'm not gonna stay on right now, but
okay.
as it gets closer to game time, I'll be on.
Okay.
I'll chat it up with the fans. We'll probably have Crying Ryan come over here and talk a little bit about the Georgia and Florida game. And,
all right, guys.
Stuff like
we're
that.
gonna get out, and we will be back up. I gotta go over to campus. Josh will have it live up in here.
And I'm here solo, so come up. If you want to get on, this is your opportunity to get on the air because I need people to talk to. So if you're a Tennessee fan and you want to talk Tennessee football, I'll put you in this chair right here.
Yeah,
Come to the Tap
he doesn't
House.
want to talk with me.
He'll have plenty of people
I'll
to
talk to Crying Ryan for about.
You gotta save him from having to talk to Crying Ryan.
This
Tap
Gator
House
fan
is
over here, I'll talk to him for about 10 minutes, but that's all he gets.
And I'll get tired of it.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.